For Matt and my dad. Um, this is going to make things much more powerful for you. So let me just give you the tour. So going into your subclass first, supers. So there's two supers that you'll mainly be switching back and forth from. You have this left one, Mobius Quiver. This one's mainly for boss damage. And then you have this bottom one, Deadfall. This is mainly for ad clear. Right now I have you on this left one for boss damage. But basically whenever we have like a big boss that has a health bar on the bottom of the screen, that's when you want to use this one. Whenever we have an encounter that's mainly just ads and we don't have a boss, you want to switch to this bottom one, Deadfall, because what this does is it creates a tether on the ground so that way it attaches to all enemies. And as long as you damage one enemy in that tether, it will damage all the other enemies connected to it. So you can kill one enemy and then that will cause everyone else to die that's attached to the tether. So remember, left one is boss damage, bottom one is ad clear. As far as abilities, marksman dodge, that stays the same. Whenever you dodge, it automatically reloads your weapon. Triple jump, that stays the same. Snare bomb, whenever you press R1, as long as the snare bomb is charged, when you throw it into a group of enemies, it weakens them. So that way they'll take more damage from any source. So always use that whenever it's available. Vortex grenade, that stays the same. It's L1. Aspects, vanishing step. This one stays the same. Whenever you dodge, it makes you invisible. Stylish executioner. All right, so this one's new. This is the crux of your build. This is what makes the build strong. Defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility and true sight. So whenever you defeat an enemy that's weakened, if you throw that snare bomb at them, or an enemy that's suppressed or volatile, which I'll explain what those are later, you will turn invisible instantly. So not only does dodging turn you invisible, killing enemies under certain conditions are going to turn you invisible every time. I'll get into more detail about that later. So now fragments. First one, Echo of Persistence. Void buffs applied to you, which is invisibility, overshield, or devour, have increased duration. So this means whenever you go invisible, it's going to last longer. Whenever you get an overshield to make your health bigger, it's going to last longer. And whenever you get devour, and devour is the most important skill, that's going to last longer. So what is devour? This next fragment is what gives you devour, Echo of Starvation. So picking up a void breach or an orb of power grants devour. So first off, what is devour? While you have devour, it usually starts on a 15-second timer. As long as that timer is not 0, when you kill an enemy, it fully heals you and it resets that timer back to 15 seconds. So if you have 1 second left to devour and you happen to kill someone, that clock resets back to 15 and it fully heals you and just keeps rinsing and repeating itself as long as you're killing enemies. So the pick up a void breach or an orb of power you're already familiar with, is those black orbs on the ground. Void breach, you may have started to see them recently. They look like a vertical purple like tear. So just like a vertical purple line that you'll see drop from enemies. If you pick that up, that gives you devour as well. Echo of Obscurity. So this is going to make it so that way finisher final blows make you invisible. What is a finisher final blow? When an enemy is weak, right, you'll see a little circle above the head. If you go up to them and press in your right analog stick in like a button, it will perform like a, like an execution type thing. So these are called finishers. Whenever you do that now, that's also gonna make you invisible, and it gives you other benefits as well, which I'll explain later. Echo of Harvest. Defeating weakened targets creates an orb of power and a void breach. So that's just more ways to create those orbs of power that you see in the ground, and those void breaches, and those are very important because those are gonna give you devour. So like weaken, for example, if you throw that snare bomb at them with R1 and then kill them, that will cause an orb of power and a void breach to spawn. So now getting into weapons, this first weapon here, Night's Watch, this is a scout rifle. The main reason why I have this guy is because it's very good for long distance enemies. So you only want to use this if there's an enemy really far away. It has explosive rounds in it, so it will cause enemies to explode near them. And then it also has subsistence, which defeating targets partially reloads the magazine. And I have full auto retrofit, so even though this is a scout rifle, you can hold down the trigger button and it will make it automatic. It'll shoot one at a time, but it'll make it so you don't have to keep pressing the button every time. So that weapon only used for far away enemies. Wave Splitter, this is going to be the one that you use most of the time, and this thing's going to shred through enemies. So with this gun, it's really important because as you pick up those orbs of power on the ground, not only are they great because they give you Devour and charge your super, but they also supercharge this weapon to make it more powerful, and more importantly, it suppresses targets, right? So when you suppress targets, it makes them kind of like hesitant to attack you. But most importantly, that other thing I showed you before is that when you kill a suppressed target, it makes you invisible. So with this gun, like as you're killing enemies, you're just going to be turning invisible left and right. And then your heavy gun, you're going to be switching between two heavy guns. If you're dealing with ad clear, you'll want to stick with this machine gun here because it's great for clearing out rooms. If you're not on ad clear and for doing boss damage, then you want to use the Taipan. That's been pretty much the same. Now, into the armor, the most important thing that makes this build work is this new exotic chest piece, Gerfalcon's Hauberk. So with this thing, your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible. So you're going to be turning invisible a lot. So whenever you're invisible and then shoot an enemy, you're going to have volatile rounds, which are these purple explosions that cause a lot of damage, and it causes splash damage. So enemies near the one that you're shooting also explode around it. And since you turn invisible a lot, you should always have volatile rounds. And those volatile rounds go to both this wave splitter and this machine gun. You notice how both of the numbers are purple? That means they do void damage. So whenever you go invisible and come out of invisibility, those are going to have volatile rounds, which is going to make them do way more damage. But that's not it. This chest piece also, when you are invisible and defeat a combatant while using your finisher, the thing I was telling you before where an enemy's weak and you hit the right analog stick in like a button and then like executes them. When you do a finisher while you're invisible, all your weapons gain bonus damage. And then not only do you do more damage, you and your nearby allies gain a reserve overshield. So you'll see your shield at the top of your screen turn blue, which means you can take even more damage. And then the cherry on the top, improve class ability regeneration. So everyone around you, including yourself, their class ability, which in your case is your dodge, will regenerate way quicker. And then those reserve overshields that you give people, they can activate it by just using their class ability, and boom, you're helping yourself and you're helping everyone around you. That's what makes this chest piece very powerful. Now going into the mods, on your helmet, special ammo finder increases the drop chance of special ammo on kill. This is very important because this means that the green ammo for this gun here is going to drop much more often. Special ammo scout. So not only will special ammo drop for you, but you're also going to be dropping green ammo for your fire team. So everyone around you will get special ammo as well, which is helping out. On your gloves here, you have firepower. Whenever you have a grenade final blow, whenever you kill an enemy with your grenade, that's going to spawn one of those black balls, the orbs of power on the ground, which once again is very important to make everything in this build run. So that's just another source to make those orbs of power spawn. Bolstering detonation. This will grant class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. So you don't even have to get a kill with a grenade. Just causing damage with your grenade is going to make your dodge come back quicker. Focus and strike. This is the same thing. Grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a melee attack. So you don't have to kill an enemy with a melee attack. As long as you cause damage with melee attack, that's going to make your dodge come back quicker. Your chest piece, these are all basically resistance mods. So this one gives you better resistance against void attacks. This one gives you better resistance against arc attacks, and this one gives you better resistance against solar attacks. Those are the most common three elements that you'll be getting damage from. On your legs, Void Weapon Surge. Collecting an orb of power causes you to gain one temporary charge. So those orbs of power on the ground, once again, it's synergizing with everything. So not only when you pick up the orb does it give you Devour to heal yourself, not only does it make your super come back quicker, not only does it make that gun stronger, this thing here, this is going to make all your void weapons gain even more damage. So since you have two of them equipped, all your void weapons will now do 17% more damage whenever you pick up those black balls. And then, guess what? There's more. When you pick up the black balls, they will replenish your health each time you pick up an orb of power. So they'll also heal you as soon as you pick them up. So So much incentive to keep picking up those black orbs whenever you see them. And yeah, you know, picking up can be a little annoying, but that's what this next mod is for, Powerful Attraction. So this automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. So say if you have a bunch of orbs of power around you and you dodge, because that's your class ability, that's going to make you automatically collect all those black orbs around you. So those orbs are going to come to you instead of you having to pick them up whenever you dodge near them. And special finisher, this one's really important. So as I was telling you before with the finishers, there's so many advantages to them. When an enemy is weak, you go up to him, you press the right analog stick in like a button. What this does is as long as you're fully armor charged, which I'll show you what that means later, it will guarantee special ammo to drop. So let's say on this gun here, right, you're completely out of ammo and you need ammo for this gun. All you got to do is find an enemy that can be finished. You go up to him, hit the right analog stick in like a button, and then because of that mod, that will guarantee that that enemy drops green ammo for that gun. And then finally, the last mod, Reaper. After using your class ability, which is dodging, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. So once again, another way to spawn one of those black balls on the ground, because those black balls make everything more powerful. So that's pretty much it for the setup. Now I can show you what the gameplay loop looks like in action. So right now I'm in a lost sector. This gun here, this is that range one, so you only really want to use this like if there's an enemy far away you can't reach. You'll primarily be using this guy. So this is the one that takes green ammo, and this is just going to melt through everything. So the gameplay loop is you always want to start off invisible by dodging, and then when you kill an enemy, notice how they just explode like that? Because they're volatile. And then notice how when I kill them, I go invisible. So just me killing people now is making me invisible. So it's like I'm a ghost here, because like I'm always going invisible, I'm always doing more damage, causing enemies to explode, instantly invisible again. Alright, more enemies up here. Look at that. Kill one enemy and just cause them to explode. These little purple balls here too, hold square to pick them up, throw them at a group of enemies. That does damage as well, and that causes them to explode. See how I'm just constantly in a loop of picking up these black balls, going invisible, exploding enemies. So you're just like an invisible assassin. Oh, see, finishers. So whenever you get an enemy weak, see how he's got the circle above his head? I'm gonna go up to him and press the right analog stick in like a button. Boom, finisher. And even that finisher makes me invisible. It makes me do more damage. And then now, since I finished him while I was invisible, now if I dodge again, see the top health? See how that turned blue? Now I have an overshield. So it's like I'm so hard to kill because I'm invisible, I'm getting overshields, I'm making enemies explode. I have Devour, so on the bottom left of my screen you see that Devour counter? It says 15 seconds. Whenever I kill an enemy, that heals me to full as long as I have Devour. So I'm constantly healing, causing enemies to explode, picking up, spawning orbs like crazy. Executions. That makes me invisible too. Yeah, so you can see that this build just synergizes with each other. Just constantly going invisible. Oh, look at green ammo dropping like crazy. So I just cleared out this entire cave pretty much and didn't even run out of green ammo. Let me just melt this guy. Oh, since he's a higher boss, let me switch to my heavy gun. Oh, let me go invisible. And then now, since I went invisible, I'm going to have explosive rounds, volatile rounds in this. So, look at that. It's like cheat mode. Constantly turned invisible, constantly exploding. Look at that. Where am I? I'm invisible again. Oh, finisher. Boom. Invisible again. So, you are now a ghost. A ghost that causes explosion, that constantly heals himself, and makes everyone around you have faster class ability regeneration. It's insane. So, enjoy your new build.